What's up, everybody? Time for my seasonal retrospect for summer 2020 in anime. So this is very long overdue. So overdue to the fact that I had to resort to going to Mal to look up the past season because the list is just gone on Funimation now. Um, boy, Let me just say, there were definitely some shows in here that I really did enjoy. So let's go ahead and get this out of the way. The second part of the what is it called? The War of the Underworld, Sword Art Online Alicization, or War of the Underworld, or something like that. The part two season. It finally wrapped up. Let me just say, it was just battle, still more battle after battle, and like a bit of like what in the world's happening on the outside to help to try and defend Kirito and the rest of the people in the the underworld world, from being able to get out and come out alive. There's a lot of battles, and you can definitely tell it was like a super finale moment. A lot of moments where it's just like, this does not seem warranted, pulling junk out of their butt to make this work, and let's just make a huge spectacle of it so people can hopefully buy into it. I didn't, but there are still some enjoyable parts, and they finally got out of the underworld as well, Alice included, and it was interesting to see how they decided to handle that. Yeah, it was interesting enough to watch to the end, but it's not like I'm gonna say you need to watch this show. It's not must watch, but I did. Next, I want to talk about Fire Force Season 2. So, to be completely honest, I have not completely finished watching it because I'm watching the simuldub, and the simuldub is like behind due to the whole COVID thing. So, I'm still waiting to watch the rest of it, but I'm through most of it, and I love the show. I don't know why I see so much talk online about this not being a good show. I loved it. Like, the animation is really dope, the story is very interesting, and the action in it is cool. I love the characters, they're really fun. I mean, I understand being annoyed at the bit of the cat, the fire cat girl always like getting undressed is a bit obnoxious, but outside of that, I think the story is very intriguing. Like, learning about the great cataclysm and how the evangelist is involved, and the relationship between the pillars and how it all connects is very interesting to me. And they even got to travel outside of Tokyo as well. That was also interesting. And yeah, I really dig it, and learning how some of the other people's powers work. I think it was she was the fifth pillar or whatever, but to see how her powers kind of developed in front of her was also really cool. Is a very interesting power, and I was like, yo, this show is dope, and I don't know why people hating on it, but yeah, I liked it. Next thing I'll end up talking about is Uzakichan wants to hang out. So I did watch the show, and I thought it was hilarious. And I'm not necessarily of the camp of like, oh, I can't wait to see when they'll finally get together. It's just, I really enjoy seeing the antics they decide to get into, and how bad they are at expressing their feelings. I think that's funny, but I'm not really really concerned about the will they, won't they. I just like seeing how goofy they're, and how goofy they are when their opposite personalities clash, since the main character is so drab and boring, and Uzaki is very bright and obnoxious. So it's just fun seeing that dynamic play out. All right, so let's talk about Decadence. Ooh, this show was very interesting. What a thrill ride! I mean, Kabu, man, was just a delight of a kind of disgruntled yet like honest-hearted character that just made me go yes. The twists throughout it were very, very interesting. The way it started out, just like seeming this post-apocalyptic thing, and then it's like, oh wait, it's not that. It's much more, and like it seems like this is all set up and controlled by the cyborg society, and the way the avatars end up working, and then how they end up using that ability to try and use that for an unexpected way to save them from what it was going to happen to the world once they realized it was just not working, and how that developed a good relationship with the cyborgs and the humans. Like, it was a really, really fun ride. The action was really interesting. There's some really nice comedic moments in there as well, and then also just a good amount of tension in some of the sections. So it was a very, very good show. I am happy that this original project actually ended up being great, because Fairy Gone was a disaster, and I don't know why it got a season 2. Let's see, what's the next one I can talk about? So yeah, the super heroes or heroes thing. I dropped it. I tried to watch it. It was kind of funny. Seeing the whole perversion throughout and how it gives them powers and all that, but it got to a point where it's just like, yeah, okay, I'm not into this anymore. It's kind of boring me. The second season of No Guns Life, though, was not boring. I enjoyed that quite a bit. Even more world building and seeing how a bit of Juzo's past and how it's affecting him now, and seeing how it all connects to the big company, the Baruin, and how they're connected to everything, and it was really interesting and fun to watch, and the CG in it too was also really spectacular to watch in this one. I had a blast with No Guns Life. Next thing, so I was watching Lapis Relights, but I dropped it. But I tell you one thing, the first few episodes definitely gave me some real good comedy gold, and I just gotta note that I probably will go back to finish the rest of it. I just didn't keep up, just decided to stop trying to keep up with it week to week, but there were some funny moments in it, like like when they were playing that little sports game. I think it's in episode 3. That's kind of like a dodgeball type of game. That junk had some very hilarious moments in it, and I definitely will come back to seeing how that is. But I did have to end up dropping it. The next thing I ended up watching, let's see what we got here. Black Clover, that's still going on, and I believe I guess since I'm watching the dub, it's behind. So, learning more and more about the devil that's in the Spade Kingdom has been interesting, and seeing how they're getting training to get ready to take them on and all that. How they went to go and explore the Diamond King. Was it the Diamond Kingdom or was it the Heart? The Spade Kingdom? Which kingdom was it? I think it's the Heart Kingdom. Anyway, they went into the other kingdom and got to see how they view magic and all that kind of stuff, and changed their whole view on who's powerful and who's not. That was really cool. And it's now it's just kind of like in a lot of training filler kind of like episodes, but I know it's going to be leading up to a fantastic arc when they finally get to face off against the devil that's invading the Spade Kingdom. I think that's going to be really cool. What else we got here that Balance Unlimited finally got to pick up where it left off, and it was very interesting. The mystery, and seeing just how ridiculous this kind of Batman-esque, yet not based on justice kind of actions the dude takes, and it was very fun to watch. It was very entertaining. Not something that I'm like, yo, this is something to write home about, but it was still fun to watch, and just to see how the mystery uncovered when it comes to the company and the products that they were giving out and affecting the world. Yeah, really cool. Really dug it. Please excuse me. Season 2 of Fruits Basket remake was beautiful as ever. Still definitely highly recommend watching it. I'm also watching the dub of that, and that it's really great. It's cool to finally get to see the full story, because I did not watch all of the original, and I definitely did not read the manga. Yeah, just seeing how much more these relationships continue to grow, and how it's their future is really it's in their, like, everything is crucial, like, right now, since they're looking forward to their future, and what they're going to do after high school, and especially when it comes to the fate of the Somas, since it seems like their fate has already been decided for them by Akito, yet these kids definitely have their own ideas about what they want to happen, but we'll see if that ever occurs. Yeah. So next thing I want to talk about is Sapari Rodman, because that also got to continue finally. And this show was a really, really fun ride. It was a really fun ride as well. Really cool action set pieces, some good laughs here and there as well, and the bit of a plot twist towards the end was interesting, where you just didn't suspect someone who was not as important becomes very important towards the end, and just to see how they overcome the odds, and I kind of hope they continue it if they decide to see if they decide to do something when it comes to air travel next. It'd be very interesting to watch, but even so, if it's just the one season, it was a fun story. What else we got here? Is there anything else? I feel like that's most of what I ended up watching. I don't think there's anything else on here that's gonna pop up that continued on. Yeah. So, I guess I could talk about a Gretzko. The new Gretzko came out on Netflix, and I did not expect it to go the route that it did. It definitely went even less relatable this time, dealing with idol life, but some of the things that it kind of relates to, um, when it comes to your own goals and passions, and how do you balance it and decide what you're going to go for. It was very interesting, and I thought it was a very, very entertaining season, but it definitely was not like your typical um, like relatable slice of life kind of story where it really has to deal with the workplace. Like the first one really had to deal with the workplace. Then the second season ended up having to deal kind of with love life, and like much more so love life. And yeah, this third one dealing with kind of more like personal goals, even if the goals aren't necessarily people's usual kind of goals. I still think they did a good job of trying to find some relatability in it, and that is something that I got to praise. They still continue to make a really fun show to watch. But yeah, I think that is the last show I have to mention that I watched this past season. Overall, it was pretty good. And this season, there's definitely some pretty cool shows that I'm watching. So, still watching Black Clover. Fire Force is still wrapping up. The Fruits Basket, I still think there's a couple more episodes that just haven't quite come out yet. But other shows that I'm watching is the Sleepy Princess in the Demon Castle. That's hilarious so far. But still have to check out the second episode of the Gymnastics Samurai to see if I still want to keep watching that. This Hypnosis Mike show is just a very strange concept, but it's still been kind of interesting to watch. We'll see if it gets too dumb later. The Ikebukuro Westgate Park show is really cool. I'm really enjoying seeing how that world unravels. I still have to check out Talentless Nana. I was gonna just completely skip it, but seeing a little bit more into the story, more than just like what the synopsis said here on the website, made me go, oh, maybe I do need to watch this. The Assault Lily Bouquet is pretty interesting so far, starting out alright. King's Raid is one that I'm on the verge of dropping because it's just not holding my attention as much as I was hoping it would. Then let's see what else we got that I'm watching currently. The Yashahime Inuyasha successor is something that I'm watching as well, and it definitely carries that spirit of the original, so that makes me a happy boy. The new Higurashi, I'm watching that, and it is good, pretty good so far. It definitely seems like they're sprinkling in some new elements, aside from the somewhat retelling of the old story. And I'm also like rewatching the old version as well. I'm pretty much almost to, I think Ray is the second season. So I just have to watch the final 2 episodes of the first season. And I've been enjoying rewatching that lovely journey. The Day I Became a God is hilarious so far. I'm really curious to see how that's gonna unravel, especially since it seems like the story behind Odin is very curious. It leaves me very, very curious. Akudama Drive is a wild ride that I'm very much enjoying so far. I'm wondering how that's gonna turn out as well. And I think that's it. So yeah, the fall season seems to be starting off pretty decently. A couple shows that have lost my interest, a couple that have gained my interest, though I have to catch up. Yeah. Looking forward to see how this turns out as we wrap up the year. But yeah, tell me what you guys thought about some of these shows, and on the shows that you're planning on watching this season. And yeah, until next time, much love, peace, 3's.